So here we have a Honda CT110, I believe it's a 1984 model. It's obviously going to be the next project. Needs a bit of work, and of course we're going to do it up a bit and see how fast we can go in it. So let's tear into it then. Got the Postie bike torn down, so my plan with this build is to set or try and set another world record for the world's fastest Postie bike, so I have to do a bit of work to it. So I've got the engine out. I'm going to have to do quite a lot of work to the engine to get the sort of power that I'd like. Now with the frame, I'm going to try and keep the same wheelbase. Obviously the frame's going to have to be modified a little bit, so that way it can be a little bit more aerodynamic, and obviously the suspension's going to need work anyway, so I'll have to modify the frame in some way. So front axle to rear axle, just a little bit more than 1240. Alrighty, got the new Postie engine mocked up. So we got the 1200cc big bore kit on there. Obviously, looking at it now, might need a couple of mods to the frame to fit it in there. My plan is to cut it here, move that up closer to the engine, re-bend this main bar here, so then we can obviously move the neck closer. Yeah, obviously this engine is not meant for a Postie bike. It was shaft drive, so I will have to change that to a chain drive, and we'll work out the specifics of that a bit later on. But the plan is, at the moment, if we have this main bar going up across the engine, we have engine mounts here, here and here, tie them together and then up to the main bar, and it should hold. Okay, so here's where we're up to. I've built these bars here to join the engine mounts. Now I've got the back sort of jigged up there. I just got to level the engine, make sure that back half is square. The front's just sitting there. I have to take the tyre off, jig that, and then what will happen is in here, this main pipe, I'll bend it up over the top to join onto the neck there, and then we'll tie these to the main bar, and then it should be good. So the main frame member just stacked in place there. And it's standing on its own two wheels. So frame's all done. So these bolt on to the main frame member so they can be taken off, so the engine will drop out. So the wheelbase has only been extended 5 centimeters, which is pretty good. I did add a bit of rake on the front to help with stability. I guess the next part we got to do is buy some new wheels, because I'd like disc brakes up the front and maybe a slightly bigger one at the back, and then we'll have to widen the swing arm a little bit and convert it to chain drive as well. Alright, one step closer to getting it running. Mocked up a set of headers of just off the original ones, just so we can get it running. Obviously I'd like to keep the exhaust looking stock, so eventually have both banks running into the collector, then up and out the back, keeping it nice and stock looking, which is what I'd like. I'd like to keep the bike as stock as possible. You know, we pretty much got the stock wheelbase. I'll keep things like the heel toe shifter, put a side stand on both sides, get the silver rack for the back, chuck a milk crate on it, just to keep it looking like a Postie bike. Now, to get this thing running, unfortunately I didn't have a key for the original ECU, so I've decided to run a Haltech Elite 1500. This is obviously a much more capable ECU. It'll allow me to run things like quick shifter and an auto blipper, traction control, all that fancy stuff. It's obviously going to be quite a bit of work, so I'll have to build a whole new wiring harness, which I pretty much have to do anyway. But I got to get it running because locations of things like the battery and the rectifier and the fuel pump, which are quite big items that I have to fit in the back of it here, so we'll work that out. Like obviously the ECU should just fit inside the stock airbox, and if I cut a hole through here and on the other side where the battery would be, I'll put the battery, the rectifier, the fuse box, all that stuff back there, and hopefully we can keep it looking stock as possible. I've also decided to run the AIM MXS 1.2 dash, which will replace the old analog one and make it look much tidier. I would like to keep these stock switch blocks because they look pretty cool, and that's as many buttons as I need. So obviously quite a bit of work to do. It's going to take me a while, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching.